how did the memorial concert begin? Well, candidly, I had been a military brat. My father was in the Air Force. We'd been stationed all over. I was born in Colorado. We had lived in Kansas. We had lived in England. And so military, I grew up in a military family. And when we came back to the United States, every Memorial Day, we would spend it pretty much up north where my great-grandparents had a farm. And part of what we would do on that weekend is we would always go to the cemetery. Well, either I was too young to remember or catalog the information, but later on I discovered that part of the reason that we did that was I had a great-grandfather who had served in the Civil War. But as I got older and Beckridge was doing all kinds of things, I made a friend with a gentleman who had been a World War II veteran. And we would talk about it, and he would always talk about the fun and, you know, how he came back and met his wife and all those kinds of things. But when I would start talking to him about specific battles or things that he had done, that was kind of taboo. He didn't want to talk about those things. He said it was just too painful. He'd lost so many friends in that process, and he always felt guilty that he got to come home and he got to marry his sweetheart. And I began to think about it and realized that he needed a way to feel what he felt without putting himself out there. He didn't want to talk about it, but he had such great emotion and such great feeling. And I think that was the catalyst for where the idea began. And then to realize that it wasn't just World War II, that all of those who have served, who've lost friends in battle, it is very, very difficult for them to talk about. We wanted an opportunity for them to be able to feel those emotions and realize that they're okay. And on one day of the year, even though most of them never forget those things throughout their lives, but one day a year, they could remember and honor those friends that they had lost.